Welcome, everyone. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
Ron here. Stephen's a past attendee. If folks would like to put their cameras on, we'd love to see your smiling faces today. I know some of you, it's probably morning, so maybe you don't want to, but.
The human face is a powerful thing.
Hey, Abby, is everybody admitted?
Yep, everybody's in and ready to go.
All right, well, I say we get the party started then. Welcome everyone to Reversible Errors. We appreciate you being here and spending some time with us today, and hopefully you can have some great takeaways from today. I am joined today, let's see if I can get this to move. All right, I'm having a little bit of issues here. Did my screen share just go away?
Your sharing of the PowerPoint just disappeared.
Okay.
There you go. We see the PowerPoint.
Okay, that's good. It just won't move for me.
Technology is a beautiful thing when it works, isn't it?
I'm telling you. There we go. Can you guys see that, or is that wrong?
We don't see anything right now, Denise.
Okay. I really do love technology. Let's try this. Joining us, so that's okay. Yes. Now can you see it?
And you want to put it in presenter mode?
Yep.
Either way, it's fine.
There we go. Yay. All right. So for those of you who haven't participated with Atticus before, I'm just going to tell you a quick synopsis on us. We really work with attorneys to help you balance out your lives and build that great practice and that great life. And so that's some of the things we're going to talk about today. Some things that maybe you can fix in your practice to help create that better life for yourself. Have a pencil and paper ready and take lots of notes. The biggest lie I tell myself constantly is I don't need to write that down because I'll remember it. And then when you leave, usually it's like, ooh, I remember that great point somebody made and I don't remember what it was because I didn't write it down. So take lots of notes and be prepared to ask lots of questions. Abby and Terry will be monitoring the chat box for you. So if you do have a question, just feel free to type it in there, or if we can see you and you have your beautiful smile on, you can raise your hand and hopefully one of us will catch it. I'm Denise Gamez, for those of you who don't know me. I've been with Atticus a little over 10 years and been working with it ever since I joined. And so we are here to help you balance out your life. Also joining us, Glenn Gutek. He's an adjunct practice advisor. He's been with Atticus 22 years, Glenn, is that correct?
22 years, that's correct.
And worked with hundreds and hundreds of law firms all over the country and Canada to help them build great systems. And also some of you are probably here because Terry invited you. So Terry's been with us since 2020, and she is the same role as I am, Director of Member Services. So a lot of you probably already have a relationship with her and have talked to her. And again, that's why you're joining us here today. So we're all here to help you through this webinar. So let us know how we can help. So the intention today, there are two goals. And one is to help you create maybe a different mindset than you've had in the past, some framework around the future of your practice, and to help you translate into that growth mindset so that you're thinking more strategically about how to grow your practice as a business and become less of that technician attorney that probably a lot of you might be stuck in right now. We're also going to introduce you to the Solo Practice Profit Scorecard. We found about 7 reasons why attorneys get stuck in that technician role or the hero of their law firm, and it stymies their growth. And so we're going to go over those 7 areas with you. I think Abby's going to put the scorecard in the chat box so you can download it. Is that right, Abby?
Yep, I will do that right now.
Okay, perfect. So you can download it and work with it. If you can conveniently print it out and work through it, or if you want to just take notes on a separate notepad, that's okay too. So Abby's going to put it there. Glenn, do you have any thoughts before we get rolling?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I would encourage you to take away from today, especially as Denise and I work our way through that scorecard, is I suspect that you came to this conversation with something in your gut suggesting that there may have been some mistakes made along the way in establishing your practice, and you're pondering how fixable are those mistakes, or do I just continue running hard and fast just on this treadmill of my practice to be able to sustain the income that I want, even though that may be costing me the life that I want. And Denise and I want to assure you that every mistake that you may have made up until today is reversible. It can be turned around. And we want you to use the scorecard to create an objective way of looking at that, and then figuring out the tweaks that you can make that will put you in a very different position. So enjoy the process that we're going to walk you through.
Thanks, Glenn. And so a lot of people are like, why a scorecard? Attorneys generally avoid numbers. A lot of us do. But if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, right? So you can't measure what you don't track. And so we really want you to kind of be honest with yourself. It might be a little painful going through this process, but again, that's why we're here. And so we're going to help you get through today. All right. And I'm going to let you take over, Glenn.
All right. Can you advance to the next slide?
Sure.
So I'll tell you one of the things that about 4 or 5 years ago, I was doing a workshop in Dallas with Steve Riley, and he and I were brainstorming, and he kind of shared this scorecard with me. We were talking about scorecards in general. I would think of all the things that I have learned by being a part of the Atticus team and working with clients. One of the most powerful tools that I've been exposed to is the idea of scorecarding, because it forces us to take subjective things that we're experiencing in the life of the practice and give an objective measurement so that we can have some clarity. One of the main premises is that we think we might be procrastinating when in fact, all we really are lacking is clarity. Clarity breeds action. Ambiguity produces passivity. I'll repeat that. Clarity breeds action. Ambiguity breeds passivity. So we're going to walk you through a very disciplined way of creating an objective measurement about where you are today. We want to take a snapshot of where you are today. And so the areas that we're going to look at are your profitability and cash flow, your time management, your team, your processes and workflows, your marketing efforts. And when you look at those really become the cornerstone systems. Those are things that where errors have been made, there are tweaks that can reverse the effect of those errors right now. As well as, by the way, we're talking about marketing, we're going to look at inside and outside, but we also want to make sure that we address, in fact, we want to finish with getting an understanding of where your mindset is. So pull out that scorecard, have it in front of you. If you need a calculator, you might want to have a calculator handy because we are going to do math. I tell you, there's some aspects of this that are a little bit like filling out your IRS tax return, but the rigor and the discipline of taking the time to do this will pay dividends in terms of clarity. Okay, so we want you to walk through and give yourself a scorecard. And so you can almost think of these things as really below average in the first 3 groupings, below average, average to above average and excellence. If you're scoring yourself in a 10, 11, 12 category, you're ready, interested, willing, and able to play the game at a high level. If you're consistently scoring in a 1 or 2 or 3 level, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. And this scorecard alone can guide you in the direction you want to go. All right. So the first one, when it comes to profitability and cash flow, give yourself, and by the way, in each column, you have a low, medium, and high. So that's the way I want you to be thinking about it. Oh, give yourself a 1, 2, or 3, or if you're constantly stressed about cash flow, you're up at night worrying about it. and you really don't think you're being paid enough for the work that you do. You're in a 4, 5, 6 category, that below average. If you make a good living and you really are not stressed about cash flow. 7, 8, or 9, I pay myself a great base compensation. Additionally, I make about 35% profit margin from the firm. Now, a real telltale sign that you may not want to score in this category is you're uncertain what your profit margin is or has been. You're unclear on that. So you have to be clear, on what that is. Now, 10, 11, 12. More than 50% of my income is derived from profit centers, other people, paralegals or associates in my firm, and it's not being driven by my personal production. In other words, you're a 10, 11, or 12 if your billable hours or you're working on cases is not driving the greatest amount of the cash flow through the practice. So give yourself a score. Where are you currently on that? All right, Denise, you want to walk us through time management?
Absolutely. This is always a tough one. We even have a book, Time Management for Attorneys. And the most common response I get from people who bought the book, I bought the book, I still haven't had time to read the book. So we really want to help you in this area. So it's a 1, 2, 3. If you get in early, you work late, you're on that treadmill. You're constantly just churning out work, you're there, you're burnout. I always say you can, run 5 miles on a treadmill, but you didn't really get anywhere. So if you're on the phone, you're checking your emails, even when you're out of the office, that's a 1, 2, or 3. A 4, 5, or 6, I work a lot, but I take at least 1 2-week vacation annually. However, when I'm off, I seldom check email or phone messages and deal with emergency issues. So you're really not getting a vacation. You're not taking a break from your firm. You're working remotely. So you have a great view, different place, but you're still working. 7, 8, 9, I don't work weekends. I have a 4-day work week. So you're taking Fridays off. You average 4 weeks off a year. While I'm off, I do not check email or phone messages. So your firm is beginning to run itself. 10, 11, or 12, I can take 175 days off. Yes, people do that, I promise. And the firm works just fine, if not better, as opposed to when I am there. So when I'm off, I don't check email, do client work, or take phone calls. When you get to that level, you're actually able, we have Atticus members who will take a month-long sabbatical from their law firm. And they don't call the office, they don't check in. So if you're at that level, you're at 10, 11, 12, you are well above average. Any thoughts on that, Glenn?
Nope, great job.
Okay.
All right, so on team, and by the way, as you go further into the scorecard, you'll see some categories you're in a higher echelon, and other categories you're a little bit lower. But the sum total will help give you some guidance. Great team, 1, 2, or 3. I avoid hiring and managing people because nobody can do the work as well as you can. In fact, oftentimes you look at hiring as an expense to the firm more than an investment in the profit of the firm. 4, 5, or 6, I am constantly frustrated, and I think that I might have adopted my staff, that you feel like you're the primary caretaker of them rather than they are the primary caretaker of the clients. 7, 8, or 9, my team understands where we are going. They have a clarity on the vision. There are systematic meetings taking place, and other team members are participating in the direction and the workflow of the firm. And then a 10 or 11 or 12, my team is self-managing. They are clear on their revenue targets, and they understand what is crucial to their performance. And I constantly receive compliments from others about the quality of my team. So add up what you gave yourself in that section and put that down in your current score. And by the way, just don't be afraid to be aggressively honest with yourself about the performance of the firm here. This is designed to give you clarity for action. So don't soft pedal yourself here. Denise?
Yeah, so processes and workflows. 1, 2, or 3. I don't have any systems or checklists or processes to handle workflow and customer service. We either don't have or use Office Procedure Manual. So this is where you're probably walking into fires every single day. You really don't know what your day is going to hold. You don't have anything prioritized. 4, 5, or 6, we have some documented checklists and workflows, which are kept in a central location. Occasionally, I must remind my team where they are and when they are to be used. 7, 8, 9, our workflows and systems are great. My team uses them and looks for ways to improve them. If they have questions, instead of interrupting me, they always go there first. This might even be where your team is bringing ideas to you for great ways to improve the workflow and systems. 10, 11, and 12, we have a visual workflow process. When a new hire joins the firm, we begin their training there. If there is a system or process breakdown, it's brought up immediately and the team works to improve the process.
So that area, by the way, if any of you are experiencing challenges finding talent right now and hiring is a nightmare, the better job you have at documenting your processes and workflows, the more effective you can be at hiring people with a little less experience and getting them productive quickly. All right, let's talk about marketing to new prospects. We're going to break marketing down into 2 parts, new prospects as well as existing clients, and looking at your conversion process. So 1, 2, or 3, I have no time to market. I'm so busy working on files, I have no time. It's not on my calendar, may not even be in my thought process. A 4, 5, or 6 is I have marketing opportunities that come to me. I'm happy to reactively take on marketing opportunities, but I'm not proactively seeking them out or growing my marketing opportunities. It's highly reactive. A 7, 8, or 9, I know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. However, I know that there are some areas in my marketing where I could use improvement. So a 7, 8, or 9, you have some systems and some proactive nature to your marketing. 4, 5, or 6, you're exclusively reactive. But a 10, 11, or 12, your marketing, you think about it very differently. I have a strategic approach to marketing. I have received a consistent amount of high caliber new business. My competitors are jealous and annoyed with my marketing success and dominance.
That's a fun place to be. Your competitors are annoyed.
It is a fun place to be, but one of the things you always have to check yourself with here is some of us struggle with standing out from the crowd. And some of us have a limiting belief that they don't want to stand out from the crowd, and that governs their marketing aggressiveness and their marketing strategies. And it's a belief system you have to get over. That's an error you need to reverse. Okay, Denise?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times this area is way overlooked when it comes to marketing. And so it's marketing and prospect conversion process as far as maybe past clients and things like that. So I do all marketing meetings, initial meetings, and manage all marketing projects, if 1, 2, or 3. All marketing depends on me. My marketing depends on cash flow. When I don't have any, I market. So you might see that porpoising effect, right? So you market, business comes in the door, you get busy, you're so busy, you forget to market. So then it's like a dolphin in the water. So your revenues are up and down. And so that goes back to the cash flow and profitability struggles and challenges that you might find when you're at this level. 4, 5, or 6, my marketing efforts, including my website, don't bring me the right kind of enough clients. I know what to do, but I am either failing to do it or too busy to do it. And overall, I'm not getting a good return on investment for my marketing efforts. So mark yourself a 4, 5, or 6 if you're there. 7, 8, or 9, we have a marketing and prospect client conversion process. We know our ideal client, our ideal referral sources, and our pricing is excellent. A lot of times we will actually, kind of the way you would rank a client, A, B, C, or D, you have to rank your referral sources as well that way. So we have 3 marketing contacts per week, and we have an annual marketing calendar. 10, 11, or 12, we are a marketing and conversion machine. We can influence an uptick in new business whenever we want. Our conversion process is amazing, and at least 80% of our initials are done by non-lawyers. Now that part freaks a lot of attorneys out, but we do have several Atticus members who have shifted from doing the intake, because it isn't the highest and best use of your time, to having non-attorney actually do the initial intakes for them. So if you're there, it's a 10, 11, or 12 score. And Glenn, this is another, all of these are super important. I keep saying that, but mindset's going to impact all the rest of this. So I'll let you take over on mindset.
Yeah, one of the things that we sometimes don't fully pay attention to is that the condition of our practice is often a reflection of our mindset. And listen, you can make great progress by identifying areas where you're in the 1 to 6 range and try to figure out how to move it to the 7 to 12 range. That can really happen. In the process, either your mindset will shift, or you will need to shift your mindset first. But don't ignore it as an importance of your ability to lead the practice in the direction that you want it to go. So 1, 2, or 3 mindset. I am a great lawyer, and I only want to be a great lawyer. I want to be recognized as a great lawyer, celebrated as a great lawyer, have the moniker above my head, great lawyer. I don't care if I'm poor and tired and worn out. All I really care about is people around me recognize I'm a great lawyer. Was I a little exaggerated there? But it's a debilitating mindset. 4, 5, or 6. I know it's a business, but I don't know how to grow the business. I like being the hero of my own story, but I don't know how to get out of the trap. That's recognizing one of the things is that one of the ways of being a great lawyer is a great lawyer sometimes magically pulls a rabbit out of a hat. And there are paydays and dividends that come from that, and you like it. And you like it a lot. And in fact, you have chaos in your practice, because the more chaos in your practice backs you into a corner where you have to pull the rabbit out of the hat more frequently. And it's an adrenaline rush. 7, 8, or 9, I focus daily on marketing time management, profitability, and staffing skills. I am successful by anyone's standards, but the firm is still dependent on me. And you can give yourself low, medium, or high, depending on your sense of how much time you spend working on those systems and how dependent the firm is on you. A 10 or 11 or 12. I focus every day on building a great market dominant firm that does not depend on me. I am focused on building a great team, a marketing machine, and strong profits without me. And in a 10 or 11 or 12, the hero of your story, the hero of your firm, more than likely is either the clients that come to you or the referral sources that send them to you. They are the heroes. All right, give yourself a score. And now if you need to take off your shoes and socks to add them up, feel free to do that. Pull out a calculator, but go ahead and come up with your total at the bottom. And there are 2 ways, by the way, I like to do this. You can do a sum total of your score, which is really helpful and informative. But it's also not a bad idea to come up with your average. So take the total and divide it by 7.
More math.
Yeah. Denise, did we warn them that there was going to be math involved?
I don't think we did. And that's probably not fair. That's probably on us. A little bit mean. But they may not have shown up had they known there was going to be math. So,
right.
One thing we also ask is to put your name and date at the top of this. It's up there for a reason. Mostly because the date is the important part, because we want you to look back on this in 90 days or 6 months and see how far you've come. So that's important.
Yeah, see how you reverse those errors. All right, Denise, you want to walk them through this first exercise?
Sure. So what do they mean? So if you're a 1 to 3, you're acknowledging that there's evidence that you're struggling with the issues, but you really have no plan to improve on it. So we need to kind of focus there. Let's create a plan, maybe a roadmap to get you there. 4 to 6, you're not really failing, but you're frustrated. And so you're trying to figure out, how can I grow this business without collapsing, right? How do I create those infrastructures and create those systems and processes so I can have strategic growth in my practice? 7 to 9, you're doing pretty well. You're managing the issues. However, there is room for improvement, and you are now committed to getting better. 10 to 12, you're mastering this issue, but you're ready for the next big challenge. Where do I go now? Far too often we see the 10 to 12s. You get complacent. You miss your why. You don't have your why any longer. And sometimes you'll backslide and you'll go right back into that 7 to 9 or even a 4 to 6 because you don't have that next carrot. And so we have to do what we have to do is help you stay focused. Anything to add there, Glenn?
No, I think that's great to sort of now translate this scorecard to an understanding so that you can begin to take action on it.
So where do I need improvement? I think the first exercise I want you to do is determine what score was your lowest. And then why? Do you know why it was the lowest, why you're struggling in that area? Where are the challenges? And then write down what action you should take in the next 90 days so that you can improve that. Do you want to give them a couple of minutes to work through that one, Glenn?
Yeah, let's give them a minute, and we may prompt your memory or prompt your thoughts to think through it.
And if anyone is willing to share, that would be great.
By the way, if you got really a low score on marketing to new prospects, one of the things that you might identify is I'm going to put time on my calendar to actually spend time marketing.
If it's not on your calendar, you're most likely not going to ever do it. It's going to be a great idea that never sees fruition. So writing it down, putting it in writing on your calendar is very important. Time management is always a big struggle for attorneys. So maybe carve out some time where you block everything and it's just you behind closed doors, no interruptions, so you can get through tasks. Maybe you've adopted that employee that needs to be fired. And so it's how do you go about that process? And then, of course, so many challenges right now in the hiring market. So building a plan for that.
But even there, yes, there's challenges. But if you have identified that you've adopted a child who's unaccountable, not doing work, not getting results done, anything of that nature, at least identify that you've done that you're going to terminate them, and you begin a search process to find them. You don't just simply throw your hands up in the air and say, oh, no, I'm stuck with this.
All right, Eric got a 6.5 in time management. So you're working toward better time management, but you still have some challenges there.
You want me to respond?
Sure.
Yeah. So I pretty much did the 9, 10 in the other areas except for this one. And the way I'm going to handle this is I've hired a COO to run the firm. And he starts tomorrow. Ivy League grad, good experience, worked at former employee at Google, and should be a good fit.
Fantastic. And Eric, you guys just started working with us, correct?
Well, I worked with you guys, I don't know, 7 years ago or so. Coached network marketing for a little while. Dropped out of it, and then I have an associate that is a really good, he's like the greatest lawyer, the best lawyer, never lost an appeal, amazing. But we send him out to market. We send him to BNI. He goes to lunches, and he just can't convert, can't close the sale. So, which is the reason why I came back to Atticus. And we actually tried a company called Action Coach before Atticus for a few months with no result. So here I am.
Fantastic. Well, welcome back. We're glad to have you back in the family.
Thank you.
And on the Eric as well, you can work with the coach you're working with now to maybe help shore up some of those time management struggles you're facing as well. So kind of where you are and what your goals are, we can help you with that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, this was a tricky question because I do not work weekends. All right. I do not have a 4-day work week by choice. Could I have a 4-day work week? I could, but I don't by choice. And the only thing about this one area is I don't take 4 weeks off a year. It's just not in my DNA. But I am taking a week next month. I'm going to Paris, France, so that'll be fun.
Fantastic.
So so I gave myself like a 6.5 in that area because I don't take 4 weeks off. So if I don't know if the question was structured a little differently, I might give myself a 7.5 or 8.
Okay. Do you want to take 4 weeks off, or is that by choice as well?
Yeah, well, it all depends on who I'm dating that month, What can I tell you?
That might be the best answer I've ever had to that one.
That's the first time I've heard that answer.
Yeah, so right now I'm dating a girl. She's Parisian, so we're going to go to Paris next month.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Second exercise, Glenn.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from there. So.
I don't know where to go with that.
It's
All
gonna
right,
move forward.
Denise, if you'd advance aside to the next one. So then the second exercise of that is one is making progress by building on areas that have been neglected or underperforming. It's also valuable to work on the areas of your score where you're the highest. And it would be really helpful for you to identify where your highest score in each of those seven categories is, and work and say, why? Why is that score so high? And what are the strategies that I've already put in place that have caused that score to be high? If your highest score is the 3 that you gave yourself on mindset, one of the things that that is that you've employed a strategy about being the great lawyer. You've taken your JD from law school and decided that being the smartest person in the room, that's how you win at this game. And now our question would be is, see how successful that system is. If you looked at other processes and systems, can you move even your strongest score in the right direction? Even if it's a mindset, what process can you employ that moves you in the direction to having a great practice? Because the biggest thing that we really want you to address is the 2 primary driving reasons that many people went into law school and opened up their own practice. There were really 3 top reasons. 1, they wanted to help people. 2, they wanted to make a good living. And 3, they wanted some degree of autonomy and freedom. And our assertion is that one of the most common errors that we make in our practice is that by being the great lawyer, we will achieve those 3 things. The problem is the great lawyer struggles with achieving all 3 of those things. We're so preoccupied in the law that we don't engage with the client. We certainly are limiting our ability to make income, and we're held hostage by our practice. And those are reversible errors.
And Glenn, you mentioned mindset. Stephen War said, Eric's answer is absolutely true. Sometimes it is better to just keep working. So I don't know if you have some thoughts. I'm sure you have some thoughts on that one. I'm curious, Eric's answer, depending on who I'm dating at the time, definitely being true. Maybe that's why you should just keep working and just not date. That's what you're trying to say.
So just by personal experience, I have a 21-year-old son. I don't know if any of you have ever had a 21-year-old son. I don't know if any of you have a 10-year-old son and hope that they never become a 21-year-old son. I have a 21-year-old son, and he's in an interesting stage of life in which he's mature in some ways and absolutely irresponsible in other ways. And we had a fascinating debate about dating. And his sisters, he has 3 sisters, were all discouraging him from dating because he was too immature and too irresponsible and wasn't ready for a good woman in his life. I said, I actually think a good woman in his life would help mature him. And ironically, he's starting to date somebody and he's growing up. I don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg. in many ways of these things. But I do know that one of the things that our willingness to work hard does help us grow our practice. However, there is a point where our willingness to work hard holds us hostage by the practice. And this scorecard and the conversation that Denise and I are walking you through is an effort to help you identify a place and a point where you break a cycle that holds you hostage. And it's great that you're willing to work hard, but at some point or another, you got to stop working hard and start working smarter, and equip and empower people around you, develop processes and systems, and reach out to a larger marketplace. So that would be my overall response to, depends on who I'm dating at the time. How did you like that segue?
Fantastic. All right. Does anyone want to share their biggest takeaways? I think we should have some good shares here. We've walked you through a lot of things, and probably some of it is a little surprising to you if you're being honest with yourself. So who would like to share their biggest takeaway with us? You can either raise your hand, Abby and Terry, and we'll all try to catch you guys, or you can put it in the chat box for us. Let's see. Who can I call on? See, I see Anthony Diaz. Anthony, do you have a big takeaway for us today?
And if you do, I'll mute your
Yeah.
He's looking for the unmute button. I like the peacemaker. There we go.
Sorry about that, guys. My mouse is not working, so luckily I am. So the biggest takeaway from me is just looking like at a snapshot of my business. I mean, all I need to do is look at these scores and look where they are in relation to each of the areas. I mean, I know exactly what I need to do, and that was really helpful with all the things that we do as entrepreneurs, to be able to focus in on two areas to work on, and two areas that are working well, and to understand why. So I appreciate being able to make this part of our practice visible.
Excellent. Thank you, Anthony.
Okay, Stephen, who said it's just better to keep working. For years, I've known that my biggest problem is growing my firm is hiring others and trusting them to do the work. I finally hired a part-time person, so I'm making progress in that area. How do I speed up this transition? Just take the plunge? Frankly, that is pretty scary for me. Glenn, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, you know, I think the idea of jumping into the deep end can be pretty scary. This is why I love the scorecard, because the scorecard can help you look at, take it what you're doing as a strength and continue doing it, especially as it relates to cash flow, while you're simultaneously working on something that is really underperforming. At some point or another, yes, I really do believe that well, there's a great quote that says basically, your vision is only as far into the future as your cash flow can carry you. And at some point or another, look at some of the profitability and cash flow issues, get that to a place where you can look at making that, you know, a part-time person is great because you can begin to delegate to them. At some point or another, you're going to have to hire a paralegal or an associate that really can become a profit center. You know, there's some numbers that you can look at, and some objective numbers, looking at average value profile and your intake, and you know, your marketing contacts and engagements and stuff like that. There's some numbers that can tell you when to take the plunge. But at the end of the day, you have to commit to creating a profit center, because I think it's all of a sudden when you have an expense like an employee, it drives our behavior and our mindset. You know, at some point or another, fear is a wonderful motivator. Cash flow is a wonderful motivator. We have to run from the bear. at some other point, we no longer have to run from the bear, but we're running to a greater vision. But early on, oftentimes it makes sense to take on the risk when your cash flow's looking like it's a healthy thing, hire somebody, and then market to turn that person into a profit center.
Okay. Any other shares? So what's next? You've taken a pretty big look into what's happening in your practice today. So you feel like now I'm ready to get going. I see where I am. I know where I want to be, and I'm not quite there yet. So what do I do next? We have a process here called a practice growth diagnostic. What that entails, it's an hour-long conversation with either myself or Terry, whoever you're working with. You get the DISC advantage. The reason we use the DISC is it really shows you how you view the world or how you want the world to work. And so it will also show you how you communicate with others, how others, and really open your mind to not everyone communicates the same way, right? You'll get a practice growth analysis with us, the advisor growth analysis, and you will leave with your 3 most impactful actions. What 3 things can you take away from that conversation to go work on without doing anything further with Atticus? So we have that. Your investment for that is $295. If that is something you would like to explore further, you can email me, Denise G at atticusadvantage.com, or email Terry, TERRIH at atticusadvantage.com. Some other options, we do have upcoming workshops and programs.
Hey, Terry,
It's
Denise, Terry is going to.
It's just Terry at Atticus
Oh,
Advantage.
Terry at atticusadvantage.com. Thank you. I'm so sorry about that. So TERRI, Terry at atticusadvantage.com. Our next practice growth program is August 25th. We're going to meet in Orlando. We also have our Double Your Revenue workshops coming up in Orlando. I'll be leading that one, and Mark Powers will be leading the one in San Francisco. And then, of course, we have the continuation of what we're talking about today. So our reversible errors workshop, that's a full day in person in Orlando. Glenn and I will be leading that program for you. Because you attended today, as a thank you, we are offering $300 off that workshop. So if you attended today, you can say $300 off the tuition. So from $12.95 to $9.95. I think I just threw a lot at everyone. So again, if you have questions, shout them out. We have some more chats, I believe. So Abby just included the links that I mentioned. So in your chat box should be the link for a diagnostic and also to register for the reversible errors workshop. So that's it for us. Does anybody have any questions, anything that we can help you with? We still have a few more minutes. We wrapped up a little early today.
I would just add, that the full day workshop in September is a phenomenal way of taking some aspects of the scorecard and developing processes and systems that will drive those numbers in the right direction. So if any part of you today is looking at your scorecard going, oh, and want to improve it, taking a day to do that would be incredibly valuable.
All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Denise, I have a
Really? Yes, go ahead.
Kevin?
I have a question. I recently, Denise, as you know, signed up for the practice growth program.
Mhm.
So I'll be in Orlando in August. One of the things I'm working on is there's a transition in the office that's going to come up where I want to sort of reshift and refocus everybody, have a better process and systems in place so I can get rid of some of these 2s and 3s that are on my list. Is that program include that DISC
Yes.
sort of testing and analysis, something that I can bring back here and also incorporate
Absolutely.
with my staff? Okay, because I'll be in trial in September for the reverse your errors growth
Mhm.
program. So I just wanted to make sure I'm excited about jumping in here, but
Absolutely. Let's jump on the phone sometime this week, Kevin, and we can kind of go over it.
great.
Okay, awesome.
Any other questions?
More technical errors.
All right. Are we good?
I think we are.
We are
Well,
good.
We wrapped up early for you guys. How about that? So you have a couple extra minutes, you can go to lunch early. Thank you,
you.
everyone, for joining us.